What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Downtime Re-Up, where you can get your re-up of sports for the DFW week in your downtime or anytime, whatever time. You could be
Mm-hmm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff, you could be not doing stuff, but you know, we had to
Or if
pick a
you're
name
doing,
somehow.
or if you're doing college work, because everybody's going back to
All
college
right,
or high
school's
school.
starting back up. If you just want to have us in the background yapping, that'd be cool. So I mean, you could just know a little bit more about the DFW sports. Be up to date. If your friend randomly asks you, "How did the Mavs do last night?" You can actually give them a response because you watched Downtime Re-Up.
Absolutely.
So
Speaking of the
speaking of,
Mavs, oh
yeah,
wow.
the Dallas Mavericks. Um.
We're gonna talk about the last three games we played. The first one we're gonna talk about the Timberwolves versus Mavs.
Uh huh. Uh
It
huh.
was I think was it his Luca's first game back, or was it the game before
Well,
from his injury?
it was Luca's. I think Luca was out for one game,
Mm-hmm.
and then he came
Came
back,
back.
and then he got hurt again.
I know we missed him for when we played them earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Um, this game was absolutely dominated by our two superstars. They combined for I think it was 69 points. We beat them 115 to 108.
Mm-hmm,
It was an
mm-hmm.
all out, honestly, just clinic for our superstars, really.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It's like this is what, as a Mavericks fan, you dreamed of when you saw that Luca and Kyrie were coming together to play basketball. This is what you wanted to see every single night. Well, maybe not every single night because
But most nights.
asking this much from them every single night's a lot. But yeah, most nights, I mean, you get 35 out of Kyrie, 34 out of Luca, on top of their assist and their rebounding ability. The chances that you lose the game are slim to none. So if we can get this kind of production out of Luca and Kyrie every single time they step out on the floor, which the last two times they've stepped out on the floor together, they have done, and individually, when one's been out or the other's been out, they've been doing, then this team can really, really excel.
Absolutely. And this is
And
a team that everybody, well, obviously we thought we were inferior to them because we lost the last two during the season. But honestly, coming back and beating them 108 to 115 gives me a lot more confidence on this team, on
mhm.
itself, especially now that we're getting a little bit of a win streak. Well, except the loss to the Grizzlies. Other than that, I think we're
Yeah,
doing fine.
yeah. I mean, the the Mavs they've been doing great. It's just this is kind of they have this weird thing going on where they are playing to the level of their opponent. You know what I mean? So rather than just beating down on a 10 win Grizzlies team, we lost to them. And you know, you could say, "Oh, well, we didn't have Luca, or you know, we didn't have D Live," but the reality of the situation is the Grizzlies didn't have John Morant, and they are still a 10 win or whatever the amount of win teams they are. You know,
Yeah,
they have like half of our
we
wins.
have double their wins.
So it does. It's just one of those games where I feel like we have to think back whenever we lose against like the Grizzlies about when we do have Luca and Kyrie. This is what they can do. They can beat the number one seed in the West, and they can put on a show. You know, it's
Yep.
a game you want to watch. You love to see Luca and Kyrie doing their own thing because they have different play styles. And if you're getting the best of both worlds in one game from these two players, it's the most entertaining basketball you'll ever watch. And I love it, and I'm all for it.
Absolutely. And then after we shot, if I remember pretty well, is I think we shot over 32, 33% from three.
When?
Timberwolves.
Oh,
So
uh,
more than that game,
I
I
mean,
remember.
yeah, we shot pretty high, but let's look at the Grizzlies game real quick
I skipped over that one.
that we were talking about. So like I was saying, we didn't have Luca,
Or
uh,
Lively.
Luca or Lively. Oh, whoa, no, we did have Luca. Oh, right.
We didn't have Lively. That was
We
it.
didn't have Lively. Luca still played even though he was hurt.
both our superstars still dropped over 30 points, and to lose a game like that means our support did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you can. I mean, look at it yourself. DJJ only put up one 3 pointer, which is interesting. You have to ask questions of, was it he just wasn't taking them because he was open, or were Luca and Kyrie not getting their offensive players open looks like they
Mm-hmm.
usually do? I mean, Dwight Powell, 4 points. You can't really expect so many points out of Dwight Powell. Just, pick and roll finishes and whatever's open. He's pretty consistent inside the paint. If that's one thing that Powell is, he's consistent inside of the paint. He knows how to finish. He had the highest field goal percentage at finishing inside the paint a few years ago whenever
Yep.
he was a true starter. But yeah, I mean, just not good enough from Josh Green, not good enough from
From
Dwight Powell, considering that he did start. Not
terrible from Graham Williams,
Yeah,
-20.
Grant Williams, even though he only played a little bit, it's very frustrating seeing how he was playing at the beginning of the year compared to now.
Yep.
At the beginning of the year, we
He
thought
was
we
lighting it
made
up. Holy.
a steal of a trade and sign that was gonna work out for us for years to come. But then he went on a decline. He got hurt. He still hasn't really fully recovered. He's kind of been teetering on the edge of being healthy or not. And it's been very frustrating seeing his struggles because he was shooting a lights out. He was playing amazing defense at the beginning of the year. And then all of a sudden, it all just kind of vanished. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there anymore because this game was a few games ago. But yeah, and then Tim Hardaway Jr., whenever you're getting 20 plus minutes off of the bench, you're going to have to be doing better than, you know, 9 points.
Yeah.
You're going out onto the floor and you're basically being told, shoot the ball. That's what he is off the bench. You come off the bench and you're just going to shoot the ball. And when you're only getting 9 points from your primary bench scorer, the game is more than likely not going to go very well.
Definitely not. He had a -26. Just you expect so much more from Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to saying how we were like, if both of your stars are getting 30 plus points a game, you're more than likely going to win in the game, even if it's against a good team. But this is one of those cases that our superstars had a good game. I mean, they could have shot a little bit better if realistically, if you're looking at their field goals. They could have shot better. They could have done better on the free throw line, especially Luka missing 5 free throws.
Especially
Might
because
not
of
be
three.
that big in the overall sense of the game if you're just looking at the final score. But if he makes those 5 free throws, maybe it takes a swing inside of the actual game and the lead doesn't blow up like how it did. So every single point counts. If it's a 4 point game and you make a free throw, then it's a 3 point game and it's not a 2 possession game,
Mm-hmm.
just like that. That's a lot more, it puts a lot more belief in your team rather than knowing you're down by 2 possessions. So free throws are free throws. So it's crucial that we're making the most of it on the line. And that's kind of been a theme with this team. We have a lot of struggles from the free throw line. Josh Green, DJJ, Luca, D Live for sure whenever he is playing. I mean, we have no real certain free throw shooter that you want to put on the line other than Kyrie.
Kyrie,
Of
yeah.
course, Kyrie, you're going to want to have on the free throw line at the end of the game. At any point in the game, whenever you want to know that you're going to get for sure free throws.
Yeah.
But you can't always have Kyrie on the line. You're going to have these other people on your team at least shooting 75% from the free throw, and that's what you need on a nightly basis. But
It
sometimes it's not
was
what you get.
just a bad game overall, really. But going to the next game, we had, if I remember, the Knicks, right?
Yes.
So
Or as they used to call them, the Knickerbockers.
all right. This game, pretty close to the end. Like usual, we don't really. As I can tell, they absolutely went off on us the fourth quarter. Almost took the game pretty much. Actually, the whole second half, we were getting outscored like crazy.
Yeah, it was it was one of those games where you just had a feeling. We had a 20-point lead at some point in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
but it just never felt safe. You always felt like, okay, yes, we're doing really well, but Kyrie can't play the whole game, and B, who's gonna be doing that scoring when Kyrie isn't on the floor? Who's gonna show up? And sure enough, last night Tim Hardaway Jr. showed up,
Yeah.
as he should. You know, that's what he's there for, to score points and to play mediocre defense, which to his credit, he got 2 steals. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, THJ, take a bow. Great game. Kyrie, of course, you can't say enough about him
Yep. 44.
and what he did. I mean, it was just incredible, especially going down the stretch, what Kyrie was able to do to be able to close the game out.
Yep.
Because it was looking ugly for a second there, but Kyrie stayed composed. The team stayed composed. Josh Green hit a big three, and they were playing defense on the other end, and that's what's
Yep.
important.
And Grant Williams also showed up shooting 2 for 6 from three and 3 for 7 from the field goal. He had 11 points, so at least he showed up this game. Other than the last one was it like 3 points?
Yeah.
And then the game before
I
that
mean,
having zero.
I
At
mean,
least he did something
he
this time.
played 27 minutes, only scored 11 points, but having an only of a -4 when you're scoring 11 points makes you believe that, okay, he probably did pretty well on the defensive end, but he's definitely still struggling on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
2 for 6 is by no means horrendous, still 33%, still not a bad average, but we need to be seeing more of that 40% shooting Grant Williams that we were seeing at the beginning
Yeah.
of the year.
And then we can't have Julius Randle dropping 32 points on us.
Yeah, I mean, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson for some reason have just been on a tear,
Yeah.
and I didn't expect any less. But to the credit of the Mavs, their defense in the month of January is fifth best in the conference or in the league, one or the other. I think it's in the league. I think it's fifth best in the league. But the Knicks did have the second best in the league ever since they picked up OG Anunoby and Precious Achua. So
That's why I just saw it here. I was like, going to the Chuba get there.
yeah, so the Mavs being able to put up 128 without Luka against what is a top 3 defense, and so far this month, we're only 11 days into this month so far, but that's three-ish games,
Mm-hmm.
So depending if you've played more, maybe 4, but still the Mavs being able to put together a game like this and to prove that they don't need just Luka to be able to win, that Kyrie can still do it himself, that Kyrie is still that guy. I sometimes Kyrie needs to remind these people, because a lot of people see him playing next to Luka, being the second man, not getting as many touches, and people forget that that's Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
It is no joke when Kyrie Irving has the ball in his hands, and it's the most beautiful basketball you'll ever watch.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Luka's gonna be out next game again.
Yep. Big versus the Pelicans. That is.
Maxi apparently found his small toe. It came back.
Okay.
He's questionable. It's been 2 months since we've seen Maxi Kleber play. Not like I think it'd make that big of a difference. Although I think if Grant isn't on and Maxi is on, then I definitely think Maxi takes Grant's spot in terms of if one of them is gonna start or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're basically the same player, except you need to be shooting the hot hand. So you can go between if Grant's shooting hot or if Maxi's shooting hot. I really don't care. They both play defense. They both can shoot the three. They're both long. They're both strong. They can both guard multiple positions. But what's most important for this team, and what will continue to be most important for this team, the way it's constructed, is the 3-point shot. And you need to put whoever is hot out there, because you need someone that's going to be able to bang the open threes that Luka or that Kyrie gives you. Because if we're just missing open shots on one side of the court and giving up fast breaks, that's how we're going to lose.
Yep. That's how we usually don't keep leads. Usually, we
Yeah.
start missing, and all of a sudden, next we're down by 10 or more.
Yeah.
What is your prediction for tomorrow's game, Mavericks and Pelicans?
So, Mavericks versus Pelicans. No Luka, questionable D Live, questionable Maxi. Do we know about Dante Exum status? I'm gonna guess he's
Nope.
probably still out.
Probably will be for another game or two. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Um. Man, Kyrie's been playing amazing. I think we win a close game. And I think that I think that Grant Williams hits a little bit of a spark. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
feeling four threes out of Grant Williams.
Four
I'm feeling
threes
four threes out of Grant Williams.
and score.
Let's do, considering we've been playing decent defense. Um, although giving up 124 points is a lot. I would say like 119 to 112.
Okay.
119 to
What I
112.
was gonna say is 113 to 106.
Oh, that's pretty low. Considering the type of team we are,
Yeah.
that's a pretty low scoring game. But it would
I
be
just
cool to see them grind out a game like that. That
I
would be
just feel
cool.
like it's gonna be one of those games that it'll be close most of the game,
Hmm.
and then I feel like fourth quarter that's where we're gonna kind of just take the lead from there. Really.
Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, fourth quarter. That's Kyrie's quarter.
Absolutely.
So, well,
Wait, no. Stars.
but yeah, we're gonna go on to Zidzalis Stars real quick.
Tell us how they've been doing recently. Ooh, I see a lot of red. What's been going
Yeah.
on?
So the Stars are continuing to have the same problem that they've been having. They're just very inconsistent, and the biggest problem with that is it's like, I don't know if you want to say it's a problem or not. It's just annoying that they're losing, but they're losing one score games
Yeah, 4-3,
constantly.
5-4, 4-3.
I mean, their last five losses are in one score games,
Hmm.
but a lot of their last few wins are, well, other than
Good.
recently against the Wild, because the Wild are terrible and we hate Minnesota. If you're watching this podcast and you're wanting to start into the Dallas Stars, if you want to know one thing, we hate the Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
And if you want to know a little bit about why we hate the Minnesota Wild, you can go into last year's playoffs and learn a little bit about how dirty of a players that they are over there,
Yep.
and the kind of things that they were saying during the playoffs just to get smacked around by the Stars in the end. Anyways, we clearly kicked their butts 2 games in a row, which was amazing considering our 3 game skid. But you look at these 3 games that we lost, and they're all by
We were there.
1 point. We were there the whole game, and these are good teams too. The Avalanche is a good team. I mean, the Blues are all right. The Predators are an all right team. But those are those teams that are right there next to us. Nashville's right below us, and then following that is St. Louis, and then of course Colorado is right above us. That's one of those games that we need to take full points from Colorado so that they don't get any points, and they ended up getting the upper hand on that. So it would have been great if we would have gotten that win over Colorado. But as you see, Winnipeg and Colorado have a lot of games up on the Stars right now. Yes, we're behind in the standings, but we have 3 games in hand, I think, or two. So we have 2 games, I think, in hand from Winnipeg, and the same for Colorado.
Okay.
Um, Winnipeg is kind of just hitting the stride. There's not much we can do about that. It's gonna be a little hard to catch up in that sense, but I know we can catch up to Colorado. I know we can stay there, and I know that if this team just uses this momentum that we just got from just knocking around Minnesota at their home and at our home, that they can catch up to Winnipeg eventually, you know? And Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, Joe Pavelski, Duchesne. I think eventually we're gonna get back Ottinger. I don't know how soon that's gonna be, but we should be getting Ottinger back. Ottinger was an automatic All Star, so that says enough about Ottinger. Even though he was struggling this year for his standards, he was still an automatic All Star. That's how good Ottinger is. So getting him back is gonna be great. Um, a Something that's not great that if y'all don't know about is Heiskanen, our superstar defender.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be out for a few weeks. He's week to week. So that's probably where those a little bit of those troubles from the losses came from. But once he's back and this team's at full strength, and I hope Ottinger will be back around the time that Heiskanen comes back, and this team is at full strength, I think that this team can go on an absolute tear. And I don't want to say blow the division wide open because Winnipeg isn't just going to all of a sudden get really bad,
Yep.
but it's going to be a real contest for that number one seed in this division. And I have 100% faith that the Dallas Stars can do it. So we'll just see. With coming up, we have Nashville uh, today at 7. Uh, so yeah, I think this team can do good. I think that for what Wedgwood is in net, he's been decent. The only shutout that we have in these last few games wasn't even Wedgwood. It was Matt Murray, a call up from uh, the Texas Stars, and which is our under team, our AHL team. I think it's like the triple A of the NHL. So we called him up, and he he did a shutout, something that Wedgwood, a veteran NHL goalie, couldn't do. But we did end up sending Matt back down. But it was good to be able to see somebody in their first NHL game do something that's special, because it's very hard in the NHL to get a shutout considering how many shots a team is typically taking on you, anywhere from 20 to 40 shots a game, and the ability to stop every single one of those shots is incredible, especially in your first NHL action. Just the speed, the intensity, it's unmatched. So, you know, props to him.
Yep. And hopefully we go, like you said, in a big stride. To just, do you think we have a high chance of winning this division?
Mm, I would say I wouldn't say a high chance. Like I said, Winnipeg is a fantastic team.
Mm-hmm.
But I would give us a good like 40% chance.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Just gotta keep playing our games, not really lose by one. Especially if we kind of look at those games. If we win by one, if we make less mistakes during those games,
Hmm.
those are 3 more wins or 2 more wins we have right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look here closely, if you're looking at the box score, Winnipeg has won 8 games in a row, and their differential is insane. They have a plus 44
Holy
differential to our plus 27.
27, yeah.
So, you know, Winnipeg and the Canucks, to their credit as well, have been playing fantastic hockey that is unmatched to anybody else in the Western Conference. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna take work to get there. We can easily catch up to Colorado with 2 games in hand, with 2 wins, a win tonight and a win in the next game. We'll be ahead of Colorado, but even with a win tonight, we only have 1 game in hand with Winnipeg, and they'll still be 5 points ahead of us. So we're getting close to halfway through the season. It's time where either you're gonna hit your stride and you're gonna march into the playoffs, or you're gonna start to stumble and you're gonna stumble into the playoffs. I have no doubt in my mind the Stars will be in the playoffs, but I don't know in what condition they'll get there.
Yep.
As far as I can tell, they're still Stanley Cup contenders, and I have faith in them, and so should the rest of y'all.
Now, talk about playoffs. We're going now to the Dallas Cowboys. Before we get to the playoffs, I just want to talk about how everybody really doubted us of winning the NFC East division. Absolutely, especially midway through the season where we got beat by not midway, beat by the Cardinals and other teams that really shouldn't be losing to, and now winning the division over the Eagles.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing season by Prescott. Everybody absolutely doubted him, wanted him out of the team. He kept his promise. He said he was going to throw less than 10 interceptions
Well,
through
okay.
9.
Just so that people do know this, he didn't say that.
No, he said it. No more
he
about
he
it.
didn't say that. He didn't actually say that, but he did say he's gonna have less interceptions than he did
No, no. That's pretty
last
much
year.
promising to everybody.
But yeah, I mean, this promise that we kind of made up that he said, he still came through with it.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. A quarterback throwing, what was it, 36 or 38 touchdowns in a season and only throwing 9 interceptions
36, yeah.
is it's insane. You don't get that from a quarterback every single year.
Absolutely.
And
him still not being really. Well, he is in the MVP
He is.
talk,
He's in the MVP
but not
conversation.
high. Like
Yeah,
he's still not over. I feel like he should be over Brock Purdy.
yeah. The fact that he's not just a clear front runner for MVP is insane to me.
If
And I
he's
think if Baltimore didn't win their conference outright, that Lamar Jackson wouldn't have gotten the traction that he got. But just the way in the stretch that Lamar and the Ravens just absolutely destroyed the Dolphins, which everybody thought was a juggernaut, and then went on to just walk through the AFC basically and land with that first seed was amazing, you know? But I
mm-hmm.
feel like the way that Dak played as a quarterback was much more impressive. Even if you just look at the numbers, Dak leads in pass touchdowns, less interceptions, more yards, a higher completion percentage. I mean, it checks all the boxes. What they're taking into account with Lamar is his running, which, yes, is a factor and it should be a factor in the MVP conversation. But I think that Dak should have been all pro first team
Yep,
because he's
absolutely.
the better quarterback, and B, that Dak should be the front runner in the MVP conversation because he had a better year, and Brock Purdy shouldn't be in contention for
Absolutely
anything.
not. Yeah, absolutely not. Makes
So
no sense. And then going to our right the single season record breaker, CD Lamb breaking.
yeah, breaking the receptions
Mm-hmm.
and the yards in a single season.
He had a, if I'm right, he did have a little bit of a slow start at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of slow start because people were trying to tell us that AJ Brown was a better wide receiver than CD because they were looking at CD's stats and just
Yeah,
saying like, "Oh, this guy's terrible." But in reality, Mike McCarthy didn't know what the hell he was doing in the first half of the season, and he wasn't just giving the ball to your best player. Which, if you want to win football games, put the
you
ball in
have
the
to
hands of your best
absolutely.
player. And Mike McCarthy figured that out, and we started to win football games. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, another amazing year from CD. Uh, Tony Pollard had roughly a little bit over 1,000 rushing yards this season. What do you want to say about that?
No, I mean I don't blame Pollard. I mean our run game, we didn't have a emphasis on the run game. Neither should we have.
Mm-hmm.
It was clear early in the season that Tony Pollard wasn't 100%,
Yeah,
that he wasn't where he needed to be in order to be that explosive running back.
he started showing that at the end though. The
Yeah, for
last two
sure.
game,
I
three
definitely
games.
think these last 2 3 games that he started to show that. He started to show to people like, hey, I'm still here and I can still make that impact. Those explosive plays that you're just randomly gonna break a 10 15 yard run on a
Yep.
first down. He still has that. He just needed a little bit of time to get back to that.
And this is a perfect time to get that back, especially going to the playoffs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that beating down on Washington last week is exactly what we needed in order to be firing on all cylinders
Yes.
going into the playoffs. The only thing that kind of worried me was whenever Butter Aubrey missed a kick, but
Hey, it's just one kick, one
you
block
know,
and one
yeah,
miss.
one got
Shouldn't worry about
blocked
it.
and then he missed one and he still had the cool and confidence to hit a 50 yarder right down the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about Butter Aubrey at all, which I honestly don't know how I feel about the nickname Butter Aubrey. That's kind of what the
Yeah.
Cowboys gave him.
Weird.
It's kind of weird, but
Um,
I'll let him have
I
it.
got a question. For Gilmore's injury, would he be okay for the game?
Yeah, so it ended
Yes.
up being a shoulder injury. A lot of people thought it was his hand or his finger or something like that. It was a shoulder injury. He says that he's good to play and that he wants to play. I don't know how much that means, either just coming from him,
Any
because
player
of
wants to
course a
play.
player is gonna want to
Yeah.
play in the first playoff game, and of course they're gonna say they're okay to play. But that's of course up to the medical staff if he's fine or not. But as far as I've seen, he's doing fine, and I expect him to play.
Yeah. And then I think leading actually the NFL, if I'm correct. Darren Bland with interceptions, 9.
Yeah, not in just interceptions, but in pick sixes
Picks
as
is,
well.
yeah.
How many of his interceptions were pick sixes? Like six,
It was, yeah, no, I think it was 5. No, because 5 was the record, and then 6 he broke, yeah.
six?
Yep.
That's crazy, man. That's 66% of his interceptions were touchdowns. That's That's crazy. He had more touchdown catches
Oh no,
than
it was 5. Sorry.
it was five.
Yeah.
I mean, still, he had more touchdown catches than probably the leading touchdown receiver for the Patriots. You know, because the Patriots suck, which is why Bill Belichick is gone.
Yeah,
Which I
he's
don't. I'm
got
not saying Bill Belichick sucks, but the
no the
Patriots
team. Yeah.
suck. And honestly, probably better off for Bill Belichick to go somewhere else or to just ride off into the sunset. Because honestly, if I was him, I would do that. But maybe he just
I
loves
would
football
too.
that
How many
much.
Super Bowl rings he has? I would just
Yeah, man.
and my football right there. Football years is
Like,
done. Just go relax.
what was it, 6 Super Bowls or 5 Super Bowls?
I don't remember.
And he's made a boatload of money.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, like, the only reason he would come back to coach is just out of pure passion, which, if it's his passion and he still wants to do it, you can't deny the man that he's great at it.
Absolutely.
And I think any team would be lucky to have Bill Belichick on their sideline, whether it's a head coach or not.
And now you have something up on your screen. We're gonna be doing a little bit of a playoff predictor
Right.
today.
A little bit of a segment. We're going to start including segments in our shows more often. So it's not just us talking the whole time. So we're going to start here with our playoff predictor. So we're just going to go left to right. So we're going to start with the Buccaneers versus the Eagles, which is a Monday night game if any of y'all want to watch the Eagles lose. That being said, I think the
I
Bucks are going to win.
Yeah, I really don't want the Eagles to go past the first round at all. I
and
think that's any Cowboys
and
fan though.
it's not just because the Eagles I want them to lose.
But they've been doing
I
terrible.
Yeah, the Eagles finished the season off like 1 for 4 or 1 for 5 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and they lost to the Giants. They lost to the Cardinals, which yes, we lost to the Cardinals too, but they lost to the Cardinals at home in Philadelphia. So Jalen Hurts apparently, as of Thursday, hadn't thrown a football yet because of his finger, and AJ Brown hadn't practiced yet because of his knee. Maybe they will practice today. I haven't checked the reports, but I think a Jalen Hurts not at 100%, already being pretty terrible, is going to be pretty bad for them. And them not
Yeah.
having AJ Brown, which is a good receiver, not as good as CD, still number one receiver though. If AJ Brown's not at 100%, or if he still plays, and like I said, he's not at 100%, or if he just doesn't play, I think that anyways they're going to be at a major disadvantage considering the fact that their secondary is weak and they're playing against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yep.
So I'm going to put the Buccaneers.
All right, the second game, Lions Rams. This one, I I feel like the Lions.
You're feeling the lines?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just feel
This
it.
this this I don't know. For me, I'm trying to take my bias out of it. My bias of me being mad that Lions fans think they should have beat us when it was their fault that we didn't go to overtime, and it was their fault that they
No, yeah,
confused the refs and didn't give clarification once the refs announced who was eligible. That is 100% on them and the team and the coaches. That is not our problem. That is not anything sketchy from the refs. That was on them. Anyways, Matthew Stafford going back into Detroit. Detroit saying that nobody can wear a Matthew Stafford jersey. I don't know, man. The Rams have been firing on full. Look at the last few games of the Rams.
I know, but I just like I just have a gut feeling it's gonna be really close, no doubt about it. I feel like it's gonna be a absolute shootout. I think it's gonna be like in the mid 20s, both of them. But it's just I feel like the Lions defense is gonna do something that's really just gonna throw the game upside down.
All right, I can get behind it. We'll do
Oh
Lions.
wow, I actually did
Although
it.
I think that it's a complete toss up.
Yeah.
I think that if Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup and Kyron Williams and Matthew
Oh,
Stafford,
they're on fire. There's
if
nothing they can do.
they continue playing the way they have, then the Lions lose this game because you saw how Jared Goff plays
Yep.
against the Cowboys. You saw he was terrible other than that last drive. Jared Goff is not a top 10 quarterback in this league, you know? So,
It's just really up to the Lions defense to shut down their receiving core
yeah.
necessarily. If they don't do that, yes, absolutely, they will lose this game. But I just have a feeling the Lions defense is going to show up and absolutely just lock down the receiving and any offense, really.
Yeah, and I can completely understand that because the Lions haven't played. Well, they haven't won the division. First of all, in like 1,000 years, they've had to put up a banner for it because it had been so long. And the Lions also, it's been a minute since they had a home playoff game. So I'll give it to them. I'll say that the Lions are going to get a little gutsy win here,
Mhm.
but I 100% think it could go either way.
Now to our team. Obviously,
So
we're picking the Cowboys.
the Cowboys are going to win.
Yep.
Um, it's just that simple. Cowboys are 16-0 in home since last year. The Cowboys average 40 points per game at home. The Cowboys are the best team in football at home.
Yep.
And the Packers barely got into the playoffs without a number one receiver, with a rising superstar and a quarterback, to be fair. Jordan Love's been doing his thing, but that defense is not good enough for them to win anything.
No.
Being 28th against the pass isn't a recipe for success when you're playing the Dallas Cowboys and
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb.
Especially with CeeDee Lamb. That's what I was gonna say.
So,
There's so many things that going against the Packers that I don't even I will say it's gonna be a blow, but not like a crazy blow. I think it's gonna be we're gonna be 27-28 to like 14.
yeah, I think that whatever the spread is, 7 points, 6 points, the Cowboys are going to beat that spread. So if you want to put those bets in,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't see this game being close. I see Cowboys win like
Yeah.
31-14, you know.
Then going to the AFC now, we have the Texans and Browns. We have another Texas team here. So obviously, for me, I'm a root for the Texans. They haven't been in the playoffs, oh man,
Mhm.
for ages. Just
Yeah.
to see them up there, this is a game I'm definitely going to be watching as well.
Yeah, man. I love CJ Stroud. I love CJ Stroud. Ever since I didn't know, I don't watch college football a lot. Other if I'm
I watched
watching
absolutely
Notre
zero.
Dame or if I'm watching Oregon and this year Texas. Um, but seeing CJ Stroud play in that, I think it was was it the I think it was semifinals against TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing them lose that, but seeing how CJ Stroud played in that game, if I was an NFL scout, I would have thrown everything I saw about Bryce Young out the window and said, "This is our guy. CJ
Wow.
Stroud is who we're drafting with the number one draft pick." And you know, Bryce Young went first. The Panthers ended up with their guy and had their season and don't
No.
have their first round pick. And the Texans ended up winning their division and in
And
the
in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
So you can debate a wall what would have been the better pick.
Yeah. But going to back to the playoffs, what do you I think Texas are
I think the
winning.
Texans are gonna win. I,
I think it's gonna be still like a dogfight somewhat. Obviously we're going against they're going against the Browns.
yeah,
But I still see them winning by at least one touchdown and a field goal.
yeah. It's not gonna be as big of a blowout as the Cowboys Packers. I'd say Texans win, like you said, by at most a touchdown. I think this game goes different if it's the Browns at home,
Yep.
but it is the
That crowd is gonna be crazy at
it's the
Texans.
Texans at home. I don't know much about the Texans if they have a huge following or not.
They they
So
do. I've been there.
mhm.
It's they have you can see it like everywhere. There's flags. It's
Yeah,
just they don't talk about football that much because obviously, who wants to talk about a losing team for the past few
yeah. A
years?
team that once had Deshaun Watson,
Yeah,
disgusting.
but now having a team to really root for right now, especially in the playoffs that haven't been here in years,
Oh, and which makes me think too, they're playing against Deshaun Watson. Even though he's not playing, he's gonna be on that
he's gonna
sideline.
be there.
He's gonna be on that
Yeah,
sideline.
so I absolutely think there's gonna be that stadium is gonna be full
Yeah,
of just crazy Texas fans, and
yeah,
those Houston fans are no joke. By the way, we ran against them in the playoffs in baseball.
yeah. If those Astros fans actually fall around the Texans too, because they're the Astros fans were in the mud all that time that the Astros were trash and they came out like bandwagons once they were good, they'll probably do the same thing for the Texans. And I
Absolutely.
absolutely hate Astros fans. So yeah, I mean, for me, number one hate Eagles fans, number two hate Astros fans. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I still got the Texans. I think, like I said, if this was I think whoever was at home was gonna win this game. So since Texans are at home, I'll give them the game.
And then this is the next game, absolutely crazy. Chiefs and Dolphins. Just because of the weather alone,
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Chiefs.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the Chiefs are. I think that it's this simple. Tua can't throw. Patrick Mahomes can throw.
Yep.
And if Tua can't throw in sunny Miami, what makes you think he can
Imagine
throw
negative.
in negative,
What was it, Gus? Like negative 30?
yeah, like -3 gusts with snow and wind, and
Yeah.
it's just
Like,
no shot. And this is another one of those games. If Miami's at home, I might lean towards Miami a little bit more in this
yeah.
situation. But I think that the home factor is heavy in this game, probably most out of all the rest of the games.
Absolutely. Who wants to play in negative weather in a playoff game?
So, but one thing I'm definitely noticing so far with how we're doing,
Whoever is at
every
home.
single home team has been winning so far. Although, like I said, I think that Lions Rams game could completely go
Yeah.
either way. But the rest of these games, I'm pretty sure with.
And then next game, Bills Steelers. How in the world are the Steelers? The Steelers always are somehow winning
Yeah,
record or somehow in the playoffs.
that Tomlin guy, he knows what he's doing over there. He gets winning seasons out of them somehow, no matter what quarterback, what team he has. But let's be real here.
They're not winning.
The Steelers aren't winning.
Yeah. So
Bills at home. I mean, I heard that it's gonna be a terrible snow game as well there as well.
Yeah.
And although the Steelers are used to it, they're just not a good enough football team. You know?
So we have all home teams winning. Unless I would love the Steelers to win just to get the Bills out.
That would be the funniest thing ever.
Yeah,
That would be hilarious.
I don't really like Josh Allen fans either. Really, they talk so highly about him.
Yeah, and he took Haley
mid-season.
Steinfeld too. So I'm not happy about that either. I hope he loses.
Yeah.
He didn't know who Haley Steinfeld was, and I had to remind him he was the
Well-
girl. She was the girl from Bumblebee.
Yeah. No, we had to bring that up, right?
I mean, it's not a bad
Are we
thing.
gonna talk about our division round playoffs? Or are we gonna
course.
leave that to next week and just keep going forward?
No, we're gonna do the full prediction,
Okay,
and then
we'll change
however it plays out, then we'll switch it up. You know, if our predictions are wrong, then
We'll re-talk about it.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
we'll do it all over again.
So we're going back to the NFC. Bucks 49ers. I see a 49ers winning.
Yeah,
about
unfortunately,
it.
I think the 49ers win here. My dream scenario is the Rams have to play the 49 I mean the 49ers have to play the Rams. That's my dream scenario because then we would get to play the Bucks instead of playing the Lions. So I'm very hopeful of this Rams win, but like I said, for now I'll go with the Lions win.
I honestly feel like the Cowboys, the Lions. I feel like this is when we'll really wake up, really, and absolutely, not really crush them, but I want to crush them.
Yeah, I 100% believe that the Cowboys will beat them again. So let's go ahead and do that already.
And then 49ers up to.
And then the 49ers. So it's going to be the final of what people expected, really. But like I said, my other alternative right now would be Rams win here. We beat the Bucks. We play the Rams here at home. And then you know what I'm saying. Don't worry. But anyways, so we're coming over here. We're going to have the Bills at home versus the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you thinking?
Man, this is a toss-up, really. But I think really, I feel like the Chiefs are the one. I hate the Bills, I'll be honest. So I'm gonna pick the Chiefs still.
I'm not going to pick straight out of hate, but I'm going to pick based off of history that Josh Allen cannot beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
That is also true. I forgot about that.
So I think that holds true.
Sadly, this is where I feel like the Texans are going home.
Yeah.
They'll be going against the Ravens, and unless CJ Stroud just goes crazy, I don't really see them winning.
Yeah,
this game
I
at
mean,
all.
Rookie
Sadly.
quarterback walking into Baltimore against that Ravens defense. Texans defense is decent. You know, they're
They
not
can hold their
bad,
ground.
but Lamar Jackson, I think Mark Andrews just got taken off of IR. You know, it's just maybe if CJ Stroud was a little bit more experienced, a little bit older, but I don't see it happening.
Hey, we can see something happen. Maybe he just throws a 500-yard game or something.
Yeah, I mean he could. You know, CJ Stroud is for me just one of them dudes.
Yeah.
You know, but so far the only away win we have right now is Chiefs at Bills.
Yeah.
But
And
and you can't say enough about home advantage
Yeah.
in the NFL playoffs. It's insane.
Now going to the conference championship, obviously going back to the NFC. Cowboys, 49ers. Obviously, we're going to pick for Cowboys because we're Cowboys fans, but God, this is going to be such a close game.
It's
We're
gonna
going to have
be a
so
close
much
game.
built up from last year, losing to the 49ers. Bless you.
Thank you.
Losing to the 49ers, just having a terrible game. That was such a low scoring game.
Yeah.
I want this to be an absolute shootout, not a low score. I want it to be 30s, 20s, even maybe in the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really hope it doesn't come down to us having to play the Niners again. It's quite clear that the Niners have our number. I feel like the Niners haven't played us at our best yet, though, which is what I think where we are now.
Mhm.
Dak at his best, CD at his best. The O line, hopefully,
By
is
then, we'll be
healthy.
good.
But
hopefully by then our D line really figures out how to stop the run game. If we don't stop that run game, we can kiss this game goodbye pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. If we let McCaffrey run all over us, I mean, as much as you want it to be a shootout, if you're having McCaffrey run all over you, you're going to be putting everything towards stopping McCaffrey. And then you have Debo Samuel, George Kittle, and Ayuk on the other end of that. And as much as we like to shit on Brock Purdy, if he's throwing to open receivers, he's going to hit him most of the time.
Yeah.
So
You can't really say nothing much about Brock Purdy because he has so many good tools around him that make him good.
yeah. And I'm not, we don't think Brock Purdy's bottom of the barrel quarterback,
No,
but
he's mid.
he's an average quarterback
Yeah.
with great weapons and an amazing system around him. And that's just the truth of it, Jimmy Garoppolo got the 49ers to the Super Bowl, and you're not going to sit here and tell me Jimmy Garoppolo is a top 10 quarterback in the league.
No.
So,
now to AFC, I say Ravens. I think they just dog walk the Chiefs. I'm sorry, but this is where the Chiefs end.
yeah.
The Ravens
Can you
destroy
look
them.
up if the Ravens and Chiefs have played this year?
Yes, it was actually really close. Oh no, that was the 21st.
It was 2021, the last time the Chiefs and Ravens played.
Wow.
That's already been that long?
2 years
Oh my goodness.
right here.
Well, 3 years now. We're in
Yeah,
24.
Yeah. But if we look back to that game, it was 35-36. I don't think that really matters, really.
Yeah, you're not
can't
gonna
go
be able
back
to
3
go
to
off
4
of a
years,
game
yeah.
that long ago. Mahomes had Tyreek Hill back then. The Ravens, I think that was Lamar's MVP season.
Yeah.
Or maybe the year after his MVP season. Anyways,
But still, they had a whole different team
it was a different team. I mean, NFL teams change
every year. pretty much.
drastically unless you're winning the Super Bowl, and even when you win the Super Bowl, your team changes drastically.
Yeah. But I still think the Ravens, it's going to be, I feel it's going to be a dog ball. It's going to be in the 30-14, 30-17. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah, I mean, as good as the coach Andy Reid and as good as the quarterback Patrick Mahomes is, Travis Kelce has been stuttering, and those wide receivers are
He's getting old.
terrible.
He's getting up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kelce is getting up there too. I mean, he's not super old, but for NFL, he's getting old.
Yeah, he's getting
For
up there.
NFL, he's getting old.
Nah, he's in his prime of his life. He's just talking about age.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna go Ravens here,
I think-
and it's gonna be the matchup that a lot of people actually predicted at the beginning of the year. I think because of some dumb thing with the logo,
Oh, yeah,
with
it
the
was like
Super Bowl logo.
purple top,
Yeah,
red
it was like
and blue.
purple and
Yeah.
blue, and people were saying, "Oh, Cowboys, Ravens, Cowboys, Ravens." Well, maybe they're right, because that's what we have as of this week, and we'll see after this week and the next week when we do our podcast. Maybe
Yep.
we'll have different stuff, but of course, the Dallas Cowboys are gonna win the Super Bowl. No
Yep.
explanation
I
needed.
think it's gonna be. Let's see here. I think it'll be 24.
Hmm.
20?
Hmm.
20? I think 20.
Yeah, I mean, why are you looking at me? It's your prediction.
I don't know. No, I was just looking out. I was just trying to look at you. But it's just like so hard to predict a Super Bowl game.
Yeah. And it's far out there. Nobody knows how well these teams are gonna be performing.
It's all the way in, like February.
So yeah, I'll just say like 30-21.
So
I don't
there's
know.
nothing much you really can predict.
I'll probably have something more accurate next week.
Yeah.
If we're here next week, because like you never know, man. NFL playoffs, it's the scariest time of the year, but the most exciting time of the year. But
I think we'll still talk about the playoffs, just still kind of predict, even if we're out, just to kind of still be in the conversation of just NFL football,
Yeah, it's
but we won't be really happy to talk about
yeah, no, it'll be a gloss over, like how we used to
it.
gloss over FC Dallas when they were playing.
Yeah, because we knew we weren't making it far, but
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's the Super Bowl prediction. Don't forget to follow the Instagram as y'all been seeing. If y'all been watching the podcast, it's been slowly gaining followers. We're up to 86
almost at 100.
followers. So make sure to follow downtime_Ria. We have the Rangers' most recent signing, catcher from St. Louis. We have the Stars. We have the Cowboys. We have the Mavericks. Another
Pretty
Mavericks
much
post should be coming up today.
anything DFW sports.
Yeah, everything DFW. When FC Dallas comes back, we'll be uploading FC Dallas.
Yep.
When of course when the Rangers are playing
I would
baseball.
possibly be at a few games, maybe here and there. I'm trying to go to 2 or 3 of those games
Yeah,
this
and
season.
if our following gets big enough, maybe we'll start doing vlogs for y'all, just so y'all can see the experience of what it's like to be at a DFW game if you can't go yourself. But yeah, guys. Other than that,
That'll be it for downtime re for
yeah.
this week. Stay tuned for the playoffs games. I am super excited. Me and Carter will be watching it.
Very excited. We'll be at the crib watching the
Mhm.
games because if we lose, we don't want to hear nothing from nobody forever.
Absolutely nobody. Don't no DM us nothing. Don't even put anything down in the comments.
Nothing.
Don't want to hear anything about it.
Even though we'll hear enough from the whole world because whenever the Dallas Cowboys lose, the world wins apparently.
Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for watching Downtime Re-Up, and we'll see you again next Friday, hopefully with George this time.
Yep.
He should be here. He said he
he's gonna
would.
be here.
So
We can finally do our Christmas presents.
yeah, we
I've
can
been
do our
so
Chris-
excited.
the tree is still up for us, guys. The tree is still up for our
Yep.
Christmas presents.
I've been waiting 3 weeks for this. I keep asking, "We're gonna do Christmas presents?" No,
But yeah,
I'm like a little kid.
George should be here. We should have a
Yep.
good time. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next week.
Adios.